We present the Captain's Log's playboard. On one side, we find the standard mode with a defined shape to learn how to play and control it. On the other side, a die cut area with all the available options. Standard board, in which you have the predefined mode of the game. We can find a ship already predisposed, in this case the first one is equivalent to discard, which will go here, and has evolved the following ones. To place the player's board, we have to look at its sails and its draft. In this case, we have a sail, which is here, and a draft too. To do this, we will use starts in L that fits as follows: 1 sail and 2 draft. Once for each L, we also know our draft. The draft is the bottom of the boat. At the beginning, we have to place the draft where it corresponds. In this case, we will place a cylinder of our color in the indicated square. At the beginning of the game, we will start with 2 cannons. These 2 cannons are represented by 2 black cubes. Each cannon can be placed in any space within our own ship. A cannon, if placed in a pocket, is represented by a circular square. For example, this will be a valid placement, or this. A cannon can be anywhere on the ship, but if it's not located in a pocket, it would not be able to fire. How many cannons can a ship have? To know the maximum number of cannons that each ship has, look on the cannon icons. In this case, 4. We could buy up to 4 cannons, placing them as we wish, and it will be the maximum quantity that this ship can have. If we evolve the ship to level 2, we will review a new cannon. This allows us to increase the amount of artillery we can carry aboard, and the same will happen if we reach level 3. The game board is divided into 7 parts. On the one hand, the cannon upgrades. On the other hand, the officer upgrades, specialist upgrades, sail upgrades, draft, the ship we have, and the cargo area. When we have a ship, it will give us access to a required level. In that case, level 1 ship, level 1 requirement, level 2 ship, level 2 requirement, and level 3 ship, level 3 requirements. It is in the improvements of officers as well as in the sails or the cannons themselves. In the tavern, we can acquire different improvements, in this case, of officers and specialists. Paying its costs and fulfilling the necessary requirements, we'll be able to go developing, placing a stellar adjacent to them. In a shipyard, we can develop our cannons. In this case, we can buy ammunition as well as the officers. Simply paying its costs and gives us the ammunition. Next, cannon development. The cannon development gives us a +1 for the level of the ship to 1 single cannon. For example, if we have this case, a ship of level 1 +1 to a cannon, we will roll 2 dice, but only 1 would have the bonus. If this were to increase, we would have to +1 to each one of the dice. If we have developed a ship of level 2, we would have to +2 to each of the cannons. And to finish, we can develop the range of each of our cannons. +1, +2, +3, +4. In a shipyard, we can also develop our movement. Placing an improvement here and paying its cost, we increased in 1 the speed of the ship. The cargo. In a ship, we can place different elements on it, whether they are cannons, cubes of goods such as cotton or wood, damage, or different elements. Every 5 cubes on the cargo, on the ship itself, will increase the draft by 1, or decrease it depending how you look at it. This causes a series of penalties to be applied to us, as a -1 to the movement or limiting the space where we can pass. We repeat that if we increase again the load with another 5 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We will increase the draft again. If for any reason we get or remove those cubes, the draft will return to its position. When we suffer unspecified damage, it will always be water damage. A player's water damage will always be placed from bottom to top and always from right to left. Each damage will be placed filling the ship. However, if the damage is specified, for example, fire, the damage is done in reverse order. from top to bottom and from left to right. When a fire hits a cannon, it will simply be placed on top of it. The same happens if it is water. If the water is coming and there is a cannon, the cannon is simply placed on top. This makes the cannon unusable, but it's not lost. However, if the impact is on a resource, if it is fire, the resource is eliminated and returned to the reserve. While the impact in a resource is water, the object will fall into the water and can be picked up later. Indicate that the damage also weights. When a series of damage occurs, each cube will increase our draft. That is, 5 water damage plus a cannon 6 and 4 fire damage plus a cannon 11, increasing twice the weights of the ship. Water is heavy because it is heavy, and fire is heavy even though it's not a heavy metal. That your ship is on fire does not allow you to navigate with enough comfort so that you can keep a coastal rhythm avoiding sandbank or other situations. Reappear. When we are destroyed by different situations in the game, we will reappear with as much as damage as our board indicates, in this case 2 wounds, and they will appear be water. In this case of having a higher level, we simply discover a greater number of wounds. Now there will be 3. In the expert mode board, we do not have a pick configuration. Depending on the ship we choose or acquire, we will develop it. In this case, for example, it's a level 2 vessel with 2 sails and 3 drafts. 2 sails and 3 drafts. We place the L, and our board becomes to form all of this part. Once a ship has been selected, its drafts and crew must be placed. Level 2 in the icon. 2 can be altered by different modifiers. In addition, level 3 draft ships already have the first penalty applied, which is why it is default aligned to the rest. In addition to having a larger number of ship options, we also have to notice that rowboats, crew, and cabins are displayed. The chart will indicate the maximum crew we can have, in this case 11, and the maximum number of upgrades. Those upgrades refer to officers and specialists. As we can have 5, we can buy any combination we want within the indicated space. This is a level 2 ship, so we can only buy up to this area. For example, we refill the ship. Here, for example, it gives us 1 more point of fame. As the first part is filled, the 5th upgrade forces us to place it on the opposite side. If we fill a complete improvement zone, it gives us access to the wildcard. Wildcard is an advantage that can be both specialists and officers. For example, the ammunition continues to place at the same as the improvement as we acquire them. We will place them below, always filling the level requirement for a level 2 requirement. In this case, the rowboats is an improvement of the game and works the same as the cannons. Depending on the numbers of icons you see, are the amounts of developments that can be made, in this case up to 3. In the Excel mode also appears the cabins or hammocks. These are represented inside the different squares or holes of the ship and will be developed by placing a cylinder. It should be noted that a cylinder does not weight when calculating the draft. In a PC card we can observe the main thing, where to place the L, or the level of the boat. The sails represent the level of the ship, 1 sail and 2 draft. The attributes are, first, the defense 9, and life, amount of damage it has to suffer to sink. The crew, and the amount of upgrades of specialists and officers, and its movement or amount of sail upgrades. In the standard mode, we will not have to take into account the crew. This is suppressed. And this is the player board. I hope you liked it.